For the Heidelberg Catechism, the second question, the first question in that discussion part is, how did the Heidelberg Catechism deal with the division of the 1500s? So it talked about how there was disagreement between Lutheran and what was his name? Zwingli. And they mainly disagreed on the Lord's Supper and whether or not it was actually the body and blood of Christ, or if it was just a symbolic picture. And so that's the division that existed in the 1500s, and one of the biggest places of contention took place in Heidelberg. And so these catechisms were written for the purpose of being a rallying cry for all the Protestant denominations. Even though they were having disagreements about some pretty significant things, this catechism summed up the essence of Protestant theology, which sort of brought these different denominations together as a rallying document with these catechisms. And it addressed the big topics without being too vague, and Protestants appreciated that. And so that's how it sought to speak to the division, is to be a document that was meant to bring the different denominations together by the way they talk about Protestant theology, and finding that common ground between the denominations. And then the second question was, why is there so much emphasis on the goodness of God, and how does that resolve division? And I wanted to read the quote from Ursinus, who says that the overarching goal of the Heidelberg Catechism is to lead to salvation, and in parentheses, the enjoyment of the highest good and comfort, the assurance and confident expectation of the full and perfect enjoyment of this highest good in the life to come, with a beginning and foretaste of it already in this life. And I thought that quote sums up how, because this catechism focused on the goodness of God and what he's done for us in salvation, and how he comforts us through the beauty of salvation and through what that means, and how I liked how he talked about those things as the highest good. And if we're experiencing that highest good, and we're being fully satisfied in Christ and fully satisfied as we seek to live out the life of Christ, then division won't exist. And if we're experiencing that greatest good of salvation, of what Christ has done for us, Ephesians 2 would say that in Christ's flesh he's broken down that dividing wall of hostility that exists between any people. And so that is why this document can lead to more togetherness and more unity rather than division.